Texas's National Guard has arrived in Chicago. Greg Abbott not respecting the wishes of another governor, states' rights, loyalty to Donald Trump, I guess. Trump's everything I've heard conservatives say my entire lifetime.
Well, he's got to send his National Guard up to detain the people that he human trafficked to those states in a ploy about immigration in the previous years.
Right.
And, you know, if anybody has a summer camp that gets swept up by floods that could have, deaths that could have been averted by, I don't know, putting up some sirens. Or if anybody's pacemaker goes out because the power went down because Texas has a stupid privatized grid system experiment. You know, we won't deal with any of those problems. Or Uvalde, you know, just kids. Anything happen with that police department? Are they still intimidating the parents of the children at Uvalde? No, Texas has real things to focus on, like sending their you know, the best of the best up to Illinois to like patrol parking lots.
Right. And when you say patrol parking lots, at the very least, Brandon Johnson had signed that executive order that prohibits ICE from using city-owned parking lots and garages for their own operations. But because of the Posse Comitatus Act, these National Guard members cannot do anything except basically protect federal property, because Posse Comitatus says that troops, U.S. military personnel, cannot be involved in domestic law enforcement. And Trump has been trying to get around that over and over.
One famous reason for this being honored by America is so that we couldn't send the troops into the South to deal with the Klan. So we honored it then. We're not honoring it now.
Great point. Great point. And it really says it all. So the court case, Illinois' lawsuit to stop this, is still pending. So the judge didn't immediately block the troops from entering the city, but the lawsuit arguments will be heard tomorrow, Thursday. And so the troops still have touched down outside of Chicago. And these legal battles are significant, right? So like the courts have temporarily, at the very least, blocked the deployment in Oregon and California. And Trump is still trying to work around those blockages, and there will be appeals, of course, and will go to the Supreme Court. But what Trump has in his back pocket is the invocation of the Insurrection Act, which it creates an exception to Posse Comitatus that would allow the president to send active duty military to stop a, quote, rebellion. He could do that, and he's been toying with doing that. But that's five-alarm fire territory. Yeah, for now, we have the courts at the very least slowing the National Guard deployments for these reasons.
He's been stewing about how upset he was that he didn't use it during like the Floyd protests, et cetera, et cetera. So it's glass he's wanted to break for a while.
Right. And in Illinois, too, what's as concerning as everything I just said is Trump calling for the jailing of his political opponents. What a shock. Here he was this morning on Truth Social. Chicago mayor, he can't remember Brandon Johnson's name. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker, too.
Sorry, that's such a ridiculous, like, why is it their job to protect the stormtroopers you're putting into their city?
Well, he's mad about that executive order I just mentioned, saying that ICE, Johnson may not have the ability to say this about federal buildings, but he says that if you're in parking garages or parking lots outside these federal buildings, you can't use that for your ICE Gestapo operations. Johnson has also directed the Chicago PD not to assist in federal civil immigration arrests, meaning if the person does not have a criminal record or a warrant, Johnson has directed the police in Chicago not to engage with ICE on that. And then you have Pritzker.
It's not their job. I mean, we can't, like, that's not the police's job to check people's immigration papers.
It shouldn't be, at the very least. I mean, the red states want that to be the case. But, Pritzker also has, of course, been vocal, using the bully pulpit to tell people to know their rights and encouraging resistance, peaceful resistance. As a reminder, the pretext for this National Guard piece is violent crime being out of control. Well, Washington Post this morning, I was just reading an article. I didn't even know it was this dramatic over a decade. Violent crime has dropped in Chicago 40% over a decade. That's not just like the pandemic decreases that we saw nationally across these cities that they're still toying about sending the National Guard to. This is a dramatic decrease over a 10-year period.
And I would also just point out, I having been in Chicago 15 years ago, didn't need the National Guard there from Texas to keep order in line. Like, ridiculous, like, that this pretext could even be used to put troops, like, occupy other states with people's National Guards for some crime hysteria.
And Mike Johnson is dealing with this shutdown situation. He was asked about Trump calling for Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson to be jailed this morning. And let's listen to how the Speaker of the House tries to get out of this pickle.
Thank you. Do you agree that the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois should be in prison?
Should they be in prison? Should the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois be in prison? I'm not the Attorney General. I'm the Speaker of the House, and I'm trying to manage the chaos here. I'm not following the day-to-day on that. I do know that they've resisted the introduction of, or the offering of National Guard troops in Chicago, which is a terribly dangerous city and has been destroyed in the process of being destroyed under liberal Democrat governance.
Can you pause it?
And
this is hysterical.
Yeah.
This is hysteria. This is Chicken Little Sky is Falling insanity.
I mean, the 10th Amendment is very clear. Not to be all Constitution on you, but the power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So Pritzker and Johnson have certain authorities. If the federal government is not specifically delineated in terms of their authority, they have authorities as state and local representatives, democratically elected representatives, to govern in the way that they see fit, according to our Constitution. Keep going.
Guard troops in Chicago, which is a terribly dangerous city and has been destroyed in the process of being destroyed under liberal Democrat governance and their terrible policies. I would just cite for you in response Exhibit A, which is the District of Columbia. All of you were able to walk safely into the Capitol today, and you can park your cars blocks away and walk back to your cars, and you're not in fear of having your purse snatched or your car being jacked or being assaulted. And why is that? Because President Trump had enough of it. He's a strong leader in the Oval Office, and he used the resources that were available to him, the National Guard, to bring order to the chaos. The Democrat mayor of the District of Columbia ultimately said, thank you so much for the reinforcements, and you're all enjoying the spoils of good policy and return to the rule of law. If we could do that in the other major cities in the country where they're having terrible crime crises, that should be seen as a positive, and I think most Americans see it that way. If you're a resident of Chicago or New Orleans or one of these other Democrat-run cities, you've had enough. You're tired of your family being walking in fear and not being able to enjoy their lives.
Yeah, just like the Iraqis were going to treat us as liberators.
The D.C. Attorney General, Brian Schwab, is suing the Trump administration as of last month over the use of the National Guard. They're just lying through their teeth.
It's performance for their suburbanite electorate.
Yep.
This is like every phone call I've had with like relatives, and they're like, how are you safe in New York? How do you feel safe walking to work or whatever? Well, I feel safe because, it's safe. It's safe to do that. And the anxiety or fear you have is a political product meant toward an end, and this is the end it's always been pushing for. It's always the end. This is the one that it pushed for. This is how we ended up being the #1 jailer of humanity with our mass incarceration in the 90s. The same sort of fear mongering. It's the same sort of hysteria, except back then there was actually higher crime, way higher than there is now. Like, all these people are playing for like boomer and older, like folks with like shadows in their brains, like that like are living at the final life as if it's still like 1977 or something.
The people who are most easily fooled by AI slop, and the folks that are most scared of cities, that Venn diagram is just a circle. And it's unfortunate because you have some Democrats that are trying to do the same thing, appealing to people in the suburbs. It's funny how we played that clip of Andrew Cuomo, who's not a Democrat right now, running as an independent, but talking about suburban fear of cities to justify his argument. And then you can see who he's really aligned with here in that way. But you have everyone from Tom Suozzi making that argument to Chuck Schumer in 2016, previewing the failure of the Democratic Party for the last 10 years, the pivot to affluent suburbanites, and that appeal. It's made them completely unable to counter this crime narrative, because when Republicans and conservatives talk about liberal cities, why they focus on it is because cities are places of community, cities are places of art and culture, cities are places of intellectual experimentation, cities are places of community in terms of just being in close proximity to other people and other people that may not look like you. So they use urban crime or whatever as a shorthand for black or brown crime, but they're also threatened by the multiculturalism of cities. The fact that different kinds of people live amongst one another and have solidarity networks that build, as is happening right now in response to fascism. And Sam has been making this point about the Chicago police and how they've got to start, and some are, we'll see, standing a little bit more with their communities, because this is like,
as opposed to sitting in the cuck chair
yes,
as different types of federal forces come in and do their jobs for them.
Because this is a threat to them too. Listen to this report here from CBS about what appears to be ICE faking 911 calls, overwhelming local police, preventing them from doing their actual work to try to get around Johnson's directives towards the police department.
And I just have to say, this is in the context of an America where you frequently see right-wingers say, if your protest gets in the way of a first responder, you can be shot basically on the spot. Here's how ICE treats your local first responders.
You are watching as Broadview police respond to a 911 call, claiming someone was tampering with a gate at the ICE detention facility there. Body camera footage obtained by the CBS News Chicago investigators shows several Broadview police officers respond to an alleged Homeland Security threat. The gate in question is where ICE takes detained immigrants for processing.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Not much.
How are you?
Good. We got a call of subjects trying to climb over the fence or something.
No, not since we've been here.
But when police arrive, all they find is two people and a camera. Okay. Our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building with a CBS security guard by his side.
Okay, and you guys didn't tamper with any of those?
No, man. The 911 call claiming someone was tampering with the gate came from an ICE agent. According to this incident report, an ICE agent called police for help.
But he can't go and try to force his way into that door.
Okay, so the guy in the
He
blue.
just says that he was just recording the camera.
Do you believe that was a false call?
I do.
Again, it was just our CBS photographer filming the exterior of the building.
In your mind, bogus.
Yes. It's disturbing. It's ridiculous.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says this is just one of several questionable 911 calls his police department has received from ICE at this facility recently. This same detention center has become the site of at least 3 other incidents involving federal agents who are accused of hitting people with cars, shooting projectiles, and using chemical agents on journalists, including a CBS reporter last Sunday.
We played some of that footage. Here's another still. This is a Chicago Tribune immigration reporter named Laura Rodriguez.
She posted this, but it's not. She wasn't the one who had the gun pointed at her.
Gotcha. Thank you. Either way.
Yeah.
This is a local reporter showing a federal agent. This is a woman that was recording them. Thanks, Brian. She took this still, I guess. Jess, a U.S. citizen and member of a neighborhood patrol team that documents and shares ICE activity across the city, was filming when the incident occurred earlier today in the Berwyn area. And this is a cop pointing a gun at her, or an ICE
Yeah, that's like
thug.
tear gas, pepper spray.
Tear gas. Thank you. Tear gas. Either way, I mean,
Crazy.
it's violence. Violence.
It's fascism.
They are a threat to community safety. The 911 thing too. They don't care about the community. They don't care if people have actual 911 calls and emergencies where they need first responders and police to be aware. All they care about is meeting quotas and ripping apart families. That is their job.
They're not like the idea that again, it is the Iraq metaphor. I'm not just making a joke. That's literally what's happening right now. Is the actual people here hate this occupation.
Looks like the West Bank.
Yeah, it's performance for elsewhere. And like, yeah, these guys themselves, they look at this like they're going into fucking Baghdad.
And they have the tools to do it. I mean, when we talk about everything being in the shadow of the war on terror, the reason police have all of these little toys, the reason ICE does, I mean, and they're just awash, is because the military-industrial complex got so much money, made so much machinery for our illegal war in Iraq and our war on terror in the wake of 9/11. And because there was so much excess equipment, hey, send it over to local police. Well, why can't we have our Gestapo at ICE use these tactics? And then we'll call things terrorism in the way that we did in the earlier part of the 21st century to justify civil rights abuses and rollbacks. They are doing that now locally.
If you look at this, there is no training. This man has received no training.
Yeah.
In combat, you don't point at something you're not going to shoot. This is just this.
What if you want to scare it?
This guy's training is movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.